The storm had swallowed the mountains long before the search teams arrived. Thick clouds draped the peaks like bruises across the sky, and the wind howled through the gaps like something wounded. For Navy SEAL Commander Ethan Cole, none of that mattered. His world had already collapsed long before the storm rolled in. His 8-year-old son, Mason, had vanished. It began as a simple father-son hiking trip, something they'd done dozens of times. But one wrong turn, one sudden shift of weather, and Mason was gone. Ethan had been searching non-stop for 36 hours. No sleep. No food. Barely any sense left. Just a father's desperate need to find the boy who called him hero. Now Mason was somewhere in those mountains, surrounded by cliffs, icy streams, and miles of dense forest. And every passing minute felt like a blade pressed deeper into Ethan's chest. Search teams combed the area. Drones scanned overhead. Dogs had been sent in, but the wind kept blowing their scent trails apart. Nothing worked. Ethan stood near the trailhead, soaked from rain, his uniform jacket still on, not because he needed it, but because he needed something to remind him he wasn't already falling apart. He clenched his fists in the wet gravel. "Hold on, buddy," he whispered. "Hold on for me." That's when he heard a small voice from behind him. "Sir, my dog can find your son." Ethan turned. A little girl stood there, maybe 7, maybe younger, with tangled brown hair, freckles like raindrops across her cheeks, and boots 2 sizes too big. She held a leash, and at the other end of it was an odd-looking golden retriever with fur so fluffy it looked like a walking dandelion. Ethan blinked. "Sweetheart, these are dangerous mountains. This is not a place to play." "I'm not playing," she said firmly. Her dog sat beside her, alert and bright-eyed. "My name is Lily, and this is Scout. He's the best finder dog ever." One of the search volunteers nearby tried to wave her off, whispering to Ethan, "She lives down the hill. Sweet kid, but the dog's just a pet." But Lily stepped forward. "Scout found my grandma when she fell in the woods. He found my neighbor's cat. And he can find your boy too." Ethan crouched down, trying to gently reason with her despite the storm in his bloodstream. "Lily, I'm sure your dog is wonderful. But we've already got trained." The girl shook her head with surprising steel. "The other dogs don't know these mountains. Scout does. We walk here every week. If you give him something that belongs to Mason, he'll know what to do." Ethan froze. For the first time in 2 days, someone's words didn't sound like empty comfort. They sounded like possibility. He pulled Mason's small red beanie from his pocket. It was soaked with rain but still smelled faintly of his boy's laughter and sweat and sunshine from the hike. Lily held the beanie out to Scout. The dog sniffed it once. Twice. Then his head jerked up. He barked, sharp, determined, urgent. Lily smiled softly. "He smells him. He knows." Scout pulled the leash so hard the girl nearly stumbled. The dog wasn't wandering. He wasn't confused. He had purpose. The search captain hesitated. "Cole, are you sure? We can't let a child into the woods again." Ethan looked at the dog, at Lily's steady eyes, then at the endless thicket of forest where his son could be lying scared and alone. "I'm going with them," he said, and before anyone could protest, Scout lunged ahead, dragging Lily toward the trees. Ethan followed, muscles burning but hope flickering alive. The forest swallowed them whole. Scout moved like something guided by instinct older than words. Nose low, tail stiff, weaving through ferns and brush with a precision the trained search dogs hadn't shown all day. Lily kept up surprisingly well, hopping over logs, ducking branches, never complaining. "You do this a lot?" Ethan asked between breaths. She nodded. "Scout likes adventures. He doesn't get scared." Ethan swallowed hard. "Are you scared?" "A little," she admitted. "But not about the forest." "Then what about?" She looked up at him with big, earnest eyes. "About the boy who's waiting for you." The word struck Ethan deep. He felt his throat tighten. Ahead, Scout suddenly stopped. For a breathless second Ethan thought, "Is this it?" But Scout just sniffed the ground more fiercely, paced in a small circle, then darted left. The terrain grew steeper. Rocks jutted out like jagged teeth. Ethan recognized the slope. A dangerous drop wasn't far away. "Careful," he warned, putting a hand on Lily's shoulder. Scout barked again, louder this time. and then Ethan heard something else. A faint, thin sound. Barely a whisper, "Dad." His heart stumbled. "Mason," he roared. He slid down the slope, scraping his hands on the rocks, grabbing branches for balance. Rain soaked his face, or maybe they were tears, it didn't matter. He reached a ledge, looked down, and his chest shattered open. There, curled beside a fallen tree, shivering and pale, was his son. Mason's lips trembled. "Daddy. I got lost. I'm sorry." Ethan jumped the last few feet, knees slamming into mud, arms pulling the boy into him with a desperate, choking sob. "No, no, no, you did nothing wrong. I'm here. I'm here now." Mason clung to him, weak but alive. Lily and Scout reached them moments later. Scout whimpered and nuzzled Mason's cheek, tail wagging as if he'd just saved the world. Maybe he had. Ethan looked up at Lily, rain dripping off her bangs. "You saved my son," he whispered. "No," she said softly. "Scout did. I just listened to him." The radio on Ethan's belt crackled with voices as he called in the rescue. But even as rescue teams arrived, he didn't let go of Mason for a second. By the time they got back to the trailhead, word had spread. Volunteers cheered. Medics rushed in. Reporters recorded, but the moment that shocked everyone came when Ethan stepped forward, Mason wrapped in a silver blanket, and addressed the crowd. He pointed at Lily. "This little girl," he said, voice breaking, "walked into a storm when even trained adults hesitated. Her courage, and her dog's instincts, brought my boy home." Lily blinked in surprise as dozens of people turned to look at her. Ethan kneeled so he was eye level with her. "In the SEALs," he said gently, "we have a saying, the only easy day was yesterday. But today, you made the impossible happen." Then he took his own SEAL trident pin, the badge of brotherhood, honor, and sacrifice, and pressed it into her small hand. Lily gasped. "But, this is yours." "And now it's yours," he said. "Because you earned it." The entire mountain base fell silent, even the storm seemed to hold still. Scout barked proudly, as if accepting the honor on her behalf. 2 days later, when Mason recovered and the clouds finally cleared, Ethan visited Lily's home. If you liked the story, then like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will keep bringing you such good videos. Thank you. At